This is macOS Ken.
Apple services grilled in China and the EU, fixing today's machines and designing tomorrow's, and the Big Bang Beta Parade rolls on. It is Wednesday, the 13th of November, 2024. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Incogni, helping you take back your personal data. Get 60% off an annual plan with code macOSKen at incogni.com/macOSKen. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. A story out of China that seems to have sort of buried the lead no matter who was telling it. Bloomberg ran a piece highlighted by both Apple 3.0 and Mac rumors. According to both tellings, a Chinese court is currently hearing a case over an app from Beijing Body Reader. The app, a children's posture correction app, was removed from the App Store in 2020, according to the report. Mac Rumor says the developer notes that after their original app was removed, they successfully published an identical app under a different name, which remains available on the App Store. Based, it seems, on that, the report has Beijing Body Reader arguing that Apple's enforcement of App Store policies is inconsistent. Mac Rumor says the developer is seeking monetary damages equivalent to $420,000 US, an apology, and a court declaration that Apple engages in unfair monopolistic behavior. The developer has also requested that Apple be required to allow third-party app stores and external payment links. See, if it's me, I'm maybe leading with that last part. There's a case currently before a court in China looking to force Apple to open the App Store the way they've been forced to open it in the EU. I guess that's why I make the not-so-big bucks. The closed-door hearings began last week and could wrap this week, according to the report. Speaking of the EU, TechCrunch says there's a new mess of trouble for Apple in the European Union. According to the site, the iPhone maker is being accused of unlawfully discriminating against consumers by applying restrictions on how several of its media services can be accessed around the block. That's BLOC, not Jenny from the. The piece says the European Commission and the Consumer Protection Cooperation, or CPC network, are investigating access restrictions by member nations in the European Union. This is not so much some movies or books are available in the US, so why not France? Rather, it's more, why does a consumer in France have to buy from the French App Store using a payment method issued in the Hexagon? According to the report, issues being brought to the fore were flagged due to geo-blocking in Belgium, Germany, and Ireland, related to Apple's App Store, Apple Arcade, Apple Music, the iTunes Store, Apple Books, and Apple Podcasts. The issues are said to include different interfaces for Apple Media Services in different EU and European Economic Area countries that cannot be changed by the user, locking them to the interface shown in the country where the device was registered. Restrictions on payment methods for making purchases using Apple Media Services. Again, the company only allows users to use a card issue in the country where their Apple account was registered. And limitations on App Store downloads. Users cannot access the local App Store from other countries, which means they can't access apps offered elsewhere, such as when traveling or during a temporary stay in another member state. The CPC network says the EU's geo-blocking regulation prohibits unjustified discrimination between EU customers on the basis of their nationality, residence, or place of establishment when they want to buy goods and services from traders located in a different member state. If found in violation, TechCrunch says penalties can reach up to 4% of Apple's global annual turnover. Apple has 1 month to reply to the network's findings and propose commitments to address the issues, according to the report. All hail the return of upgradable storage, says part of a headline from iFixit. though without a practically obligatory asterisk or some other way of saying, kind of. The headline was over the self-repair site's Mac Mini 2024 teardown. The praise heaped was tied to the board on which the SSD sits in the new machine not being soldered in. Of course, there is another block to upgrading. It's the one we discussed here earlier this week. While the card comes out with relative ease, there is currently nothing with which to replace it. At least nothing most consumers can get their hands on. This being Apple, says iFixit, the SSD's proprietary format makes aftermarket upgrades tricky. That said, the site figures used parts should hit the shelves soon. Between the easily removable SSD, the modular front ports, and repair manuals made available on launch day, iFixit gives the 2024 M4 Mac Mini line a respectable 7 out of 10 provisional reparability score. From fixing the machines of today to designing the machines of tomorrow, a piece from VentureBeat says Atlanta's own Georgia Tech has joined the new Silicon Initiative, a specialized engineering program put together by Apple. According to the report, the school says its electrical and computer engineering students will now benefit from an expanded tape-out to silicon curriculum and have access to Apple engineers to better prepare for a career in hardware engineering. Now in its 5th year, VentureBeat says Apple started the new Silicon Initiative in 2019. Georgia Tech is now the 8th university to be part of the program, according to the report. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, Incogni, helping you take back your personal data. I cannot name any data brokers. Okay, I can't name many. The point is there are hundreds of data brokers out there who know who we are, and they're making a boatload, selling information about us to advertisers, insurance companies, basically anybody who could make money off of knowing anything about you and me. Take that data back with Incogni. Make an account, give them permission to work on your behalf, and Incogni goes straight to work, asking data brokers to remove your data, dealing with any objections the data brokers have, and doing it all again. Whenever a new record is created on a data broker site, Incogni is ready with another removal request. Since I started with Incogni, over 100 data brokers have pulled my info from their service, I guess we're calling it, while over 30 have me on a suppression list, meaning they will never recollect any personal information that could be associated with me. I love that service. Let them offer it to you. Whether you want to slow the flow of spam, stifle the annoying robocalls, or guard against identity theft, Incogni is ready to work with you and for you. Take your personal data back with Incogni. Get 60% off an annual plan with code macOSKen at incogni.com/macOSKen. They've got plans for individuals, as well as plans to cover friends and family, and they come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. INCOGNI. Join the huge community of people who have control over their personal data with Incogni. Get 60% off an annual plan with code macOSKen at incogni.com/macOSKen. Good news, Apple Music Classical listeners. Next time you're broke down on the highway, you can also be baroque down on the highway. iDownload blog says Apple has released a native Apple Music Classical app for CarPlay months after CarPlay support briefly appeared in a previous version. I would play that Hallelujah thing from Beethoven, but I don't have the rights. Updated betas this week for public testing peeps, as well as developers. For the first group, a piece from Mac Rumors says Apple has seeded the second betas of iOS and iPadOS 18.2, as well as macOS 15.2 to the public testing crew. Those are the ones that include Genmoji, Image Playground, and ChatGPT integration with Siri, among other features. People in the public testing program, the usual game is on. People who would like to join in the fun can do so at beta.apple.com. Now, if you're tempted to do the beta thing because you don't know how long it'll be before you get the public release, under a month is the latest rumor/speculation. Pieces all over on Tuesday, including another from Mac Rumors, see Monday the 9th of December as a likely release date. The report says that date's based on a recent notice that British carrier EE provided to its customers. In the notice, EE said it will be discontinuing an iPhone feature known as Wi-Fi calling on other supported iCloud-connected devices on the 9th of December. That option disappeared in the second iOS 18.2 developer beta released last week. Now behind the developer wall we go, where we find another report from Mac Rumors heralding the second beta for visionOS 2.2. This is the one that brings the wide and ultra-wide options for AVP's Mac Virtual Display. No, there will not be a public beta, but yes, that should also be out on the 9th of December, assuming the rest are out on the 9th of December. A story for Apple Vision Pro users in the UK, so I'm pretty much talking to none of you. But on the off chance, a piece from 9to5Mac says the King's goggle-wearing subjects have a new TV streaming app to check out. According to the report, Channel 4 has launched a dedicated app for Apple's spatial computer, making it the first broadcaster in the UK to do so. It works about as one would expect. Channel 4 says programming is viewable in a groundbreaking, cinema-style, full-screen viewing experience overlaid onto viewers' real-life environments, such as the walls of a living room. Additionally, there's a viewing space for users to use while using the app. Channel 4's offering includes an immersive environment that takes users to the set of the Channel 4 show Taskmaster, according to the report. And finally today, from the California tech giant that keeps naming its global products after places in California, comes a show about a fallen tech giant. Probably. A piece from Variety says it looks like Lena Dunham is writing a script for Apple and A24 focused on Sam Bankman-Fried. Dunham is best known for the HBO series Girls, while Bankman-Fried is best known for fraud to the tune of billions, not the HBO series. I think it was HBO. Anyway, the upcoming script is said to be based on Going Infinite, The Rise and Fall of a New Tycoon, a book that Variety says delves into the spectacular ascension and equally spectacular implosion of the cryptocurrency exchange and hedge fund FTX, as well as its founder, Sam Bankman-Fried. The book's publisher says the title takes readers into the mind of Bankman-Fried, whose rise and fall offers an education in high-frequency trading, cryptocurrencies, philanthropy, bankruptcy, and the justice system. Apple's series won't be the only take on the FTX wreck. Variety says Amazon actually ordered a limited series based on the events back in 2022. Another streamer is also said to be prepping another limited series on the topic, according to the report. macOS Ken, brought to you by me, and sponsored by Incogni. Get 60% off an annual plan with code macOSKen at incogni.com/macOSKen. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Leonard likes this post.